You're about to see the most intimate and harrowing secrets of a woman's life. She could be your next-door neighbour, your sister, your best friend, maybe even you. Her name is Joey. She has 2 gorgeous kids, a loving husband and a good job. She's also an alcoholic. And in a moment you'll see her at her worst. It's raw, it's shocking, but it's far from rare. Joey's part of a lost generation of young women, a new breed of alcoholics who, on the surface, lead respectable, ordinary lives. But in reality, they're a total mess. It'll make you think twice about your next hens night and your next drink.
Oh, we're going to go.
Oh, where we go?
To Danny and Seb. Hi, guys.
Bye, dude.
To the world, they're the perfect family.
That's it.
Joey Hamilton, her husband Craig, and their 2 children, 6-year-old Trinity and 4-year-old Sebastian, out doing what families do.
He's beautiful. Hear that? Hear that? He's talking to us.
I think he likes these pacos.
Yeah.
Do it!
Go
put them away. Do as you're told.
But behind closed doors, with booze on board, 28-year-old Joey transforms into this.
Oh, hello, what's that? Get your pillow and get on your bed.
From loving mum to monster.
You've got a headache. I've had a headache for 15 years. You don't know what you're on about.
Joey's drunk 5 bottles of wine, and as this home video shows, tonight she's targeting the kids.
I sleep in the pitch dark. I love the dark. I don't need a light to sleep. Now you roll over and you start being a big girl and you go to bloody sleep. Stop being a baby. Do you want a hiding?
Do you think the demeaning language, the yelling, the loss of temper, do you think that's hurting them?
Yes.
And
I think it's hurting them and I think it's damaging them. And it has to stop.
And why can't you stop? Why can't you stop that part of your behaviour?
I'm an alcoholic.
How much do you drink every day?
Between 4 and 5 bottles of wine a day.
And is that easy to do?
It is for me.
It's an extraordinary amount.
It is.
I'm sick of being me. I'm sick of being a drunk.
It's an ugly reality, but this is Joey's world, the world of the suburban alcoholic, where for more and more women, casual drinking has turned into a daily, dangerous splurge.
Oh, sorry. No, stop. That was my fault. I'm sorry. I bumped your arm.
But Joey's exposing this hidden phenomenon by letting her drinking secret out in a desperate bid to turn her life around.
I'm a drunk who needs treatment.
The decline has been quick. It was just 8 years ago a sober Joey met her husband Craig. By the time their kids came along, Joey was hitting the bottle at all the wrong times.
When my daughter took her first steps, I celebrated by getting drunk. I showed up drunk at my daughter's sports carnival. I was drunk last Christmas at our son's Christmas concert at Kindy.
Craig, how much more of this can you take?
Sometimes you just get to a point where you're going to snap. I've been to that point. I've snapped a couple of times. And one time, of course, I moved out. Grabbed the kids, concerned of their safety. And if I'm pushed to the limit, I would do that.
Are you prepared to lose him? Are you prepared to lose the kids?
No. No way.
But you've done nothing up until this point.
I know.
To stop that happening.
I know.
Rock and roll. Yes! I drink more than you.
Joey's story with alcohol started out fairly typically. A weekend binge drinker like so many other Australian women. In the last decade, the number of women drinking at dangerous levels has doubled. Here in Brisbane, Jo, Kim, Emily, Nicole and Belinda meet up once a week where most have on average 15 drinks. And some nights it can be as many as 30.
Do you think more women are drinking now than ever before?
Oh, definitely.
Yep. And why do you think that is?
Because we got money.
And it's also to do with equality as well.
Equality.
Women have got their own dispensable income now.
Yep.
Women are working, women can account for all the money that they're making now, so we can go out and have a good time. We don't need the boys there, we don't need that.
And if the blokes can do it, why can't we? Really?
If it was a competition, which it seems to be becoming one, particularly with young people, women are going to lose hands down every time. We can't drink like the blokes.
According to Sonia Burton, an alcohol treatment specialist, the problem for women is if they do try to match the blokes, they will do twice as much damage to their brains. And you might be shocked by how little alcohol it takes. In 10 years, if you're a bloke, it's just 6 drinks a day. If you're a woman, just 3 a day will do you permanent brain damage. And if you think just drinking on the weekends won't hurt you, think again.
Adding up your drinks and having your 14 standard or more on a Friday or Saturday night is really like taking a massive blow to the brain. If you keep doing it time and time again, then you end up punch drunk, and you end up punch drunk permanently, and that's alcohol-related brain damage.
Probably out of 24 hours I would have been drinking about 16, like just sleep and then wake up and drink.
And this is the result of it.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Jackie Keppel is proof of how devastating alcohol can be. She's just 38 years old, and what started out as binge drinking became a full-blown addiction. She staggers and slurs, not because she's drunk, but because the grog has now severely and permanently damaged her brain.
I started off quite well. Beautiful little life, beautiful job, beautiful everything. And then I just drank it all away. I think a lot of people don't really realise how bad you can get when you drink and drink and drink and drink. Like when I was a teenager, like I used to just drink on the weekends, but I just drink lots and lots and lots. And I just thought that was normal, but it's not, obviously, it's not. Just kills your poor little brain cells.
Jackie's doing her best to give up alcohol, and with medical help, hasn't had a drink in a fortnight. It's a huge struggle because for the last 15 years, she's been drinking 4 to 5 litres of wine a day.
Why do you think you drank so much?
Mainly because I didn't like thinking about where my whole life was going. I didn't like that, and I was just hanging around with a lot of people that drank a lot, and while I was drunk, I really didn't care about things.
Mommy, are you my friend?
I'm always your friend, but are you my friend?
Why do you drink that much?
Are you 5?
I have very low self-esteem. I feel inadequate all the time. I always feel like I'm not good enough, that nobody has any respect for me.
Increasingly, Joey is a mum missing in action, forgetting to bath her kids, feed them or put them to bed. Most often, Craig picks up the slack.
Up high. Hello, too slow.
When Joey is there, she's sometimes scarily out of control.
Sit up.
Don't wet your hair.
Go get it. Go get your pillow.
Now you're being mean.
I'm not being mean.
I know you love her, but are there days when you hate her, hate what she's
Oh,
doing to you and
yes.
the kids?
Yes. Many, many days. But I wouldn't say I hate her to the point where I could just walk out and leave her. Because if I walked out and left her, she just might turn into one of these bums on the street, living on a park bench.
I'm a mess. And I'm a drunk girl who's very sick. And I desperately need help.
Yay!
But it might be too late. Joey may have already done irreparable damage to her brain. One of the first signs of alcohol-related brain damage is short-term memory loss. Joey has her forgetful moments, and today she and Jackie have agreed to have their brains tested to measure the damage alcohol has done.
The point of the maze is that the more times you do it, the more you should visually be remembering the path that you actually took.
They both drink similar amounts, but Jackie has been doing so for twice as long. And when it comes to remembering the right path, it shows. Jackie just can't do it.
How did I do that?
That brain functioning is gone.
Can you get it back?
No.
Just focus on the music.
It's this test which is the most telling. To see the damage, Jackie and Joey undergo a brain scan. For both women, the results are frightening.
Jackie, the not so good news for you is that the scan really isn't very good. Isn't very good at all.
The white patches on Jackie's scan are dead brain cells, killed off by drinking. The deep grooves around the brain show further damage from alcohol.
We would expect to see a scan like that of someone who's around the 70-year-old age group. And Jackie's still in her 30s.
And while Joey's brain isn't showing signs of damage yet, she's not off the hook.
Where I'll be surprised is, honestly, if your brain doesn't look like that in the next 4 to 5 years, I'll be very surprised. We'll be studying you as a miracle case. You're drinking huge amounts. Huge amounts.
But you're not going to do it anymore, are you?
No.
Very good. Be strong.
Do you have to be a chronic alcoholic to do damage to your brain?
There's actually hundreds of thousands of Australians, and many of them women, that can't tell you their last weekend sober.
But will they have the same sort of damage as Jackie one day?
Of course they will. It'll actually be. They'll be defying science if they don't.
For our Brisbane girls, there's no such thing as a good night without grog and lots of it.
It's part of the criteria. What's that? Was that the word?
Criteria.
Don't say it again.
Criteria.
Again.
Criteria.
Again.
Criteria.
Oh, you're very good.
Do you guys reckon you might be doing yourselves damage by drinking like this?
For sure. Definitely. It probably will later, but I think when you're young, you don't think about it.
I am starving now.
For Joey, she's finally decided her drinking days must come to an end.
What am I going to give up?
Of smoking.
Yep.
And drinking wine because they both taste disgusting.
Do they?
Yes.
I'm ready and I'm feeling confident and I will do anything. I will move heaven and earth to get better and to keep it up.
Come over here and give me
So
this,
desperate
please.
is Joey to stop her addiction before it's too late, she's taking the extreme step of naltrexone treatment.
You don't get queasy, do you, Tara?
I think you're the one going through the hard bit, not me.
Naltrexone is normally used on heroin addicts, but George O'Neill is the only doctor in the world using implants to treat alcoholics.
Just releasing the medicine very slowly over 200-300 days.
The naltrexone works by blocking the pleasure receptors, so when Joey thinks about alcohol, she won't feel the urge to drink it.
We still think the reason people get better is because they've made up their mind to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you use a medicine, it just makes the job easier.
Joey should start to feel the effects of naltrexone within the next fortnight, but she's not the only one relying on it to work. Craig and the kids are hoping and waiting for a wife and mother to return.
I'd give anything to have a happy, united family. Anything. I'm fearful that she'll come back worse if she does hit the booze again. Very fearful, and that could be a breaking point for me then.
Joey, you're very good at talking the talk. I just wonder, do you mean it? Do you really mean it?
I do. I mean every word of it. I'm speaking from the heart. I want to get better.
Let's leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
I am too.
Fantastic.
Coming up.
We'll edit this together to make it look like we're much better.
So Ugg boots and takeaway pizza.
A good pair of Uggies, mate.
Keep urban for love.
I don't want to be away from my wife.
You and Nicole would have about 10 kids by now.
Yeah, no doubt, at least.
That's next on 60 Minutes.